Archangel Michael says, open this right now. Only 1 minute remains before midnight, and the enemy's plan is about to collapse. This is not a metaphor. This is not a prayer you can postpone. Archangel Michael reveals that a specific scheme has been quietly unfolding against you, something built in shadows while you slept, while you doubted yourself, while you wondered if you were overreacting. That heaviness you felt after certain interactions? That was not your imagination. Archangel Michael says your spirit was detecting the blueprint of a trap. But at midnight, the foundation of that trap shatters. Archangel Michael says, together with Jesus, they have issued a joint decree. 2 thrones, 1 verdict. The enemy's timeline is cancelled. The very hour they plan to strike will become the hour of their undoing. You have been carrying a weight that was never yours to carry, a burden placed on you through manipulation, false words, hidden alliances. Archangel Michael wants you to notice who has been overly quiet lately. Who suddenly changed their tone. Who avoided your eyes. The signs were there, but you were trained to second-guess yourself. Not anymore. At midnight, the collapse begins. Not slowly. Not gently. Archangel Michael warns that those who plotted against you will feel the ground disappear beneath their feet. You will not need to lift a finger. You will not need to expose them or prove your innocence. The truth will surface on its own, carried by the same force that turns darkness to dust. Archangel Michael says this is divine justice, not revenge. It is restoration, not destruction. When the clock strikes 12, the first domino falls. One piece of their plan will break, and the rest will follow in a chain you cannot stop. But listen carefully. Archangel Michael says there is a condition. You must not interfere. Do not try to force the outcome. Do not send that message. Do not confront them tonight. If you step in, you delay the miracle. The moment is entirely in heaven's hands. Your role is to breathe, to rest, to trust. Archangel Michael says your silence is your strongest weapon right now. Let them wonder why you are so calm. Let them panic as their plan unravels without a single word from you. You were not wrong to pull back. You were not cold for protecting your peace. That quiet strength is about to be vindicated. And there is more. Archangel Michael reveals that this collapse is only the opening move. What happens in the next hour will set the stage for a much greater victory. A door that has been sealed will begin to crack. A person who wronged you will be exposed without your involvement. And the blessing that was stolen will start making its way back to you. But you must stay present. You must not miss the sign. Watch the hour of midnight. Pay attention to what arrives in your mind, in your room, in the silence. That is the moment heaven speaks directly to you. Do not let fear close your ears. Stay with me. What Archangel Michael reveals next will explain why this specific timing matters more than you realize. The enemy planned this night for your defeat, but heaven has repurposed it for your promotion. You are not on the losing side. You never were. Before I continue, if this message makes your faith stronger, join and support the Archangel Michael community through the link in the video description and the pinned comment. We don't get a single cent from YouTube, our revenue is completely blocked. This channel only runs because of your support. If you support us, your name will appear as a member of the worldwide Archangel Michael community. No matter how small your contribution, it helps so much to keep this message alive and reach more people. I will continue. My beloved, Archangel Michael is now pulling back the curtain. You have been looking in the wrong direction, searching for the threat in the obvious places, the loud argument, the open rival, the person who made their dislike known. But Archangel Michael reveals that the enemy you face has been wearing a familiar face. Someone who stood close to you, smiled at your victories, and asked just enough questions to build a map of your weaknesses. That person who seemed genuinely concerned about your stress? The one who wanted to know exactly when you would be alone? Archangel Michael says that was not friendship. That was surveillance. You remember the conversation last week. The way they leaned in, voice soft, asking about your next financial move, your upcoming meeting, the project you had been pouring your heart into. You thought they were encouraging you. Archangel Michael shows you now what your spirit already recorded. They were taking notes. They were estimating how much damage a well-placed delay could cause. And they timed it perfectly. The delay came right when you could least afford it. The opportunity slipped through your fingers, and you blamed yourself. You thought you had missed your window. Archangel Michael says you were not too slow. You were targeted. The enemy's plan was not random. It was built around your specific gifts, your specific fears, the very dream you have been carrying since childhood. They knew that if they could make you doubt your timing, you would stop moving forward. So they manufactured a setback, a lost contract, a cancelled meeting, a relationship that suddenly went cold. Archangel Michael wants you to notice that every single setback happened after a specific conversation with this person. Look back at the calendar. The day after they asked about your deadline, the email arrived with the wrong signature. The week after they offered to pray with you, a family member turned against you. The night after they texted you well past midnight, you could not sleep, and the same dark thought looped in your mind: you are not enough. Archangel Michael warns that this was a soul tie weapon. Not the romantic kind, but the kind formed through false intimacy. They positioned themselves as your confidant, your ally, your spiritual sibling. And while you opened your heart, they opened a door for a spirit of confusion and delay. Archangel Michael says the heaviness you felt around them was not just emotional exhaustion. It was a transfer of weight. Every time you shared a burden with them, they sent it back to you doubled, disguised as concern. You left those conversations more drained than before, more anxious, more convinced that God had forgotten you. But here is the part the enemy did not anticipate. Archangel Michael reveals that your very vulnerability became your shield. Because you spoke the truth of your struggle out loud, even to a traitor, heaven recorded every word. And at midnight, every prayer you whispered alone, every tear you shed in secret, becomes evidence. Archangel Michael says the covenant is stronger than any soul tie. Jesus himself has signed the reversal decree. The enemy's next move was supposed to be the final blow, a public humiliation, a financial collapse, a betrayal that would have broken your faith. They scheduled it for midnight, the hour of maximum darkness, the hour when hope usually dies. Keep listening, because Archangel Michael is about to show you exactly what they plan to do, and why every weapon they aimed at you is already spinning back toward them. The enemy thought they knew your breaking point. But Archangel Michael says they miscalculated your foundation. You are not standing on your own strength. You are standing on a rock that does not move. And the very hour they chose for your defeat will become the hour your victory is declared. That clock on your wall is not counting down to disaster. It is counting down to exposure. The door they closed in your face will swing open so wide that everyone who watched you struggle will see the light pouring through. The person who betrayed you has already started to feel the shift. Their plans are turning brittle. They will reach for a phone that does not ring, open a door that leads nowhere, speak words that crumble before they reach their target. Archangel Michael says the heaviest chain they placed on you is about to snap. And you will not need to lift a finger. You will only need to watch. The midnight hour is not your enemy. It is your delivery room. What the enemy built in secret, heaven will tear down in plain sight. Stay still. Stay trusting. The collapse is already in motion. Before we continue, I need to speak to you directly from my heart. If God is moving in your heart through this message, now is the time to act. YouTube has blocked all of our revenue. No ads, no income from YouTube whatsoever. Only the generous hearts of listeners like you keep this ministry alive. Every time you listen without contributing, there is another soul who may never hear this message. No matter how small your gift, it is a seed that God will multiply back to you, today, tomorrow, or in the coming months. And your name will appear in our blessing community. I am waiting for you there. The link is in the description and in my pinned comment. Do not miss this moment. Do it now, before this video ends. Archangel Michael and Jesus together now reveal the second weapon, and it is the most personal attack you have ever faced. The first layer was obvious, the manipulation, the hidden agenda, the words that sounded helpful but carried poison. You recognized that. Your spirit recoiled. But the enemy was never going to stop there. They know you too well. They have been watching for years, collecting fragments of your history, learning exactly where your armor is thinnest. And now they have aimed at the one wound you thought was healed. You know the memory. It comes without warning, a voice from your past, a name that still carries weight, a moment when someone you trusted turned away. The betrayal that rewired how you see love, how you measure trust, how you brace yourself before every new door opens. Archangel Michael says that wound was never fully sealed. It's scabbed over, but the enemy has pried it open again. Not with a person from that time, they are long gone. No, this attack is far more subtle. The enemy has placed a whisper inside your own mind, dressed to sound like your deepest fear, * you are not enough. You never were. This will fail like before, *. You felt it last week. That heaviness that settled on your chest before an important conversation. That sudden urge to cancel, to retreat, to protect yourself from another disappointment. You told yourself it was exhaustion. You called it caution. But Archangel Michael says this is the second weapon, the enemy using your own history as a weapon against you. They cannot stop you directly, so they have convinced you to stop yourself. Every time you are about to step into something good, that old ache returns, that familiar voice whispers, remember what happened last time, and you pull back. You delay. You sabotage before anyone else can. Look at the pattern. How many opportunities have slipped through your hands at the last moment? How many times have you been one decision away from a breakthrough, only to feel an invisible wall rise? Archangel Michael says that wall was not built by circumstance. It was built by the enemy, brick by brick, using your own fear as mortar. They have studied your past like a blueprint. They know which words will trigger the spiral. They know that a single message from an unexpected number, a certain tone in someone's voice, a date on the calendar, and you collapse inward. That morning you woke with a knot in your stomach, and you could not explain why. That evening when you felt suddenly cold for no reason. That moment when a simple text made your hands tremble. Archangel Michael says those were not random. They were the second weapon landing. The enemy has been feeding you a loop, you are doomed to repeat this pain, and you believed it. You started walking smaller, hoping less, guarding your heart so fiercely that you stopped letting anything in. But Archangel Michael and Jesus are tracking this in real time. They have not entered the battlefield fully yet, because they are waiting for the exact moment to turn the enemy's precision against them. The enemy has studied your wounds. But they have missed one detail, they do not know that those wounds have already been seen by heaven. They do not know that every tear you cried over that old betrayal was collected. They do not know that the very pain they are using to trap you is the door through which your deliverance will come. Don't leave yet. The next part will show you why this second weapon is about to backfire catastrophically. The enemy believes they have found the winning move. They are wrong. Archangel Michael says they have just stepped into a snare they cannot see, and the trap is about to spring at midnight. Midnight is close. You can feel it in the air around you, in the strange stillness that has settled over your home, in the way your chest tightened the last time you looked at the clock. Archangel Michael says you are not imagining this. The weight you have been carrying all evening is not your own. It is the enemy's desperation leaking into the room because they know something you have not yet been told. But you are about to feel it. Archangel Michael has been watching you from the moment this battle began. Not from a distance. Not as a passive observer. He has been standing at the edge of your awareness, waiting for the exact second when his presence would shift everything. That second is now. Right now, as you read these words, Michael is stepping into your space. Do not look for him with your eyes. Feel for him with your chest. That sudden warmth spreading through your sternum. The release in your jaw you did not realize was clenched. The lightness behind your eyes. That is him. Archangel Michael says, I am here. I have always been here. But now you are ready to know it. He has been waiting for this moment because he needed you to reach this point organically. He could have intervened on day 1, on night 3, on the afternoon when the betrayal first surfaced. But he held back so that you would not miss the lesson your own soul needed to learn. So that you would not remain vulnerable to the same kind of attack ever again. And now that you have walked through the fire, now that you have felt the second weapon cut deeper than the first, now that you have cried the tears that no one else saw, he is stepping forward. Archangel Michael says your testing season is over. The moment he arrives, the energy in the room changes. The enemy feels it immediately. They cannot see him the way you cannot see the wind, but they feel the shift in pressure. Archangel Michael says watch what happens in the next 60 seconds around you. A sound that stops. A light that flickers. A door that creaks without being touched. These are not coincidences. These are the enemy scrambling to adjust because they just realized they are no longer fighting a human being. They are fighting a warrior who has never lost a single battle. Archangel Michael looks at you now, and he sees something you cannot see in yourself. He sees the warrior you have become through every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you chose to keep believing when the evidence said otherwise. He sees the strength you built when no one was watching. He sees the faith that did not break even when your heart did. And Archangel Michael says, you are ready. You have always been ready. I was just waiting for you to believe it. The enemy's reaction is panic. They thought they had time. They thought they could stretch this out, wear you down, break your hope one small cut at a time. But midnight is not their deadline. It is yours. Archangel Michael says that at midnight, the collapse will begin, not your collapse, but theirs. The entire structure they built against you will tremble and fall. The lies will unravel. The hidden scheme will be exposed. The people they manipulated will see the truth all at once, and you will not have to lift a finger. Stay close, because what happens next will change everything. Archangel Michael is now calling for reinforcements. He is summoning 5 of heaven's most powerful warriors to join him in this moment. They are already moving. The air is thickening with their approach. And before this night is over, you will feel the difference between fighting alone and being surrounded by the armies of the Most High. Archangel Michael says, 1 minute left. I am here. And I am not leaving until victory is written in your name. Archangel Michael says, you can feel them now. The room is not empty anymore. There is a shift in the pressure around you, a warmth that did not come from any heater, a tingling along your arms that has no physical cause. Archangel Michael reveals that the reinforcements he called for at the close of the last hour have arrived. They are not visible to your eyes, but your body knows they are here. Your chest has eased slightly. That knot behind your ribs has loosened. That is the first sign that heaven has moved into position around you. Archangel Michael says to you, my child, look up. Not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Above you, Gabriel has taken his place. Gabriel carries the announcement of divine timing, and Archangel Michael says Gabriel is here to declare why this exact moment was chosen for your enemy's plan to collapse. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now, when midnight is measured in seconds. Gabriel's presence above you is a seal on the clock. No delay can enter. No interruption can slip through. The timing is locked, and Gabriel's voice affirms it over your head. Now shift your attention to your right side. Archangel Michael reveals Raphael is stationed there, and his hands are already glowing with green healing light. That light is moving into every wound your enemy opened. You know which wounds Archangel Michael means. The words that were spoken behind your back and then repeated to you in a distorted version. The isolation that was orchestrated so you would feel alone. The moment your trust was used as a weapon against you. Raphael's light is entering those wounds right now, not to numb them, but to seal them with truth. You will feel a release in your chest as old shame loosens its grip. That is Raphael working. To your left, Archangel Michael says Uriel stands with the burning sword. That sword is not meant for you. It is meant for the darkness your enemy tried to anchor in your home, in your workspace, in the relationships you value most. Uriel is purging that darkness now. You may feel a sudden urge to cough, or a wave of heat passing through your room. That is the cleansing. Any spiritual residue your enemy left behind, any whispered curse or silent agreement made against you, is being cut out of the air you breathe. Archangel Michael says Uriel's sword does not miss. Behind you, Azrael has taken his position. Archangel Michael says Azrael's role here is often misunderstood, but tonight he is cutting the soul ties your enemy used to keep you bound. Every time you thought about that person and felt a pull of guilt or obligation that did not belong to you, that was a tie. Every time you replayed the betrayal and felt your energy drain, that was a thread. Azrael is severing them one by one. You may feel a snapping sensation at the base of your skull, or a lightness in your shoulders. That is the cutting. And in front of you, Archangel Michael himself stands with the shield. Not a metaphorical shield, but a barrier of living light that your enemy cannot cross. Archangel Michael says every arrow, every whispered lie, every attempt to restore the old pressure against you, now bounces back to its source. You do not have to defend yourself. The shield is already raised. You are surrounded. Above, right, left, behind, in front. 5 archangels in formation. Archangel Michael wants you to feel the completeness of this. There is no angle the enemy can approach from that is not covered. There is no wound that has been overlooked. There is no darkness that has been missed. Your body is responding. That warmth is not fever. That tingling is not anxiety. That release of tension in your jaw is not imagination. Archangel Michael says this is the physical evidence of spiritual warfare shifting in your favor. You were made for this battle, but you were not made to fight it alone. Keep your eyes open. The formation is complete, but the real movement is about to begin. Archangel Michael warns that what happens next will not be quiet. It will be felt in the physical world. Midnight is seconds away, and the enemy's collapse is about to become visible. Stay present. Stay aware. The next moment is already forming. The room around you holds a silence that is not empty, it is packed with warfare. Archangel Michael says the battle you cannot see with your eyes is louder than anything you have ever heard. Right now, above your roof, above the street where you live, above the ceiling of the room where you are sitting, angelic forces are moving in formation. They are not marching slowly. They are not waiting for permission. They are advancing, and the ground beneath the enemy is already cracking. Archangel Michael reveals that every single prayer you have ever whispered, even the ones you thought were too small, too forgotten, too desperate, is now being weaponized. That prayer you said in the car when no one could hear you. That plea you made at 3 a.m. when sleep would not come. That one sentence you gasped out while tears soaked your pillow. Archangel Michael says those words did not disappear. They were stored. They were held. And now, at this exact moment, they are being released as ammunition into the heavenly battle unfolding directly over your life. You felt something shift in the last few minutes. A pressure in your chest that suddenly loosened. A warmth that spread across your back. A ringing in your ear that came and went. Archangel Michael says those are not random sensations, those are the physical echoes of a spiritual war tilting in your favor. The enemy has been holding a piece of your life hostage. An opportunity that was blocked. A relationship that was poisoned. A peace that was stolen before you even knew it was gone. Archangel Michael says that peace is being reclaimed right now. Not slowly. Not gently. Forcibly. The enemy's command structure is collapsing from the inside. The ones who coordinated the attack against you, the hidden voices, the agreements made in secret, the system of manipulation that was set up long before you felt the effects, those are being dismantled one layer at a time. Archangel Michael warns that you will see evidence of this collapse within hours, not days. A message that arrives out of nowhere. A person who suddenly changes their tone. A door that was sealed shut cracking open in a way you did not arrange. Do not mistake this for coincidence. Do not dismiss it as luck. Archangel Michael says you have been fighting this battle on your knees, and your knees have won. The enemy is losing ground. You can feel it in the air that is lighter than it was an hour ago. You can feel it in the way your shoulders are dropping without you telling them to. The heaviness that lived in your home, in your chest, in the space between your thoughts, that heaviness is being lifted by angelic hands. Archangel Michael says the retreat has begun, but the enemy does not leave quietly. He will try to make noise in his exit. He will try to make you believe the battle is still raging when the victory is already signed. Hold steady through these final seconds. Do not react to what you see with fear. Do not let the last tremors shake your faith. Archangel Michael says the collapse is not a process, it is a moment. And that moment is closer than your next breath. You have been praying for breakthrough. You have been asking for justice. You have been begging for freedom from something that has held you too long. Archangel Michael says the answer to every one of those prayers is arriving at the same time. Not scattered. Not delayed. All at once, because the structure that held them back is falling. But listen closely. The enemy has one last weapon. He has not deployed it yet. He has been saving it for this exact moment, the moment when you think you have won. Archangel Michael warns that his commander is about to reveal himself. Not as a shadow. Not as a rumor. As a face, a name, a voice you will recognize. And when he appears, you will finally understand why this battle took everything you had. Stay present. The next revelation will change everything you thought you knew. The noise of war has stopped. Not the silence of exhaustion, but the silence of something ending. Archangel Michael says this is the pause before the final collapse, the moment when the commander of the enemy's entire plan is forced to step out of hiding. You have been fighting shadows, but now the shadow becomes a face. Archangel Michael reveals that the one who orchestrated every attack, every delay, every moment of despair, is now standing before you in the spiritual realm, exposed by the light of the battle you have already won. This commander did not come from outside your life. He came from a place you trusted. He is the voice that once sounded like wisdom, the person who offered help while secretly steering you into isolation, the advice that felt wise but led you into the trap. Archangel Michael says you have carried his influence like a splinter you could not find. Every time you tried to move forward, that splinter pressed deeper. Every time you prayed for breakthrough, his hand was on the lever that kept the door sealed. Now he is here, and he is not wearing a mask anymore. The commander's final weapon is not a curse or a lie. It is a memory. Your own memory. Archangel Michael warns that he is reaching into the most vulnerable place in your history, the moment you felt most alone, most ashamed, most convinced that you had failed beyond repair. He is pulling that memory into the present, not to remind you of the past, but to convince you that you are still that person. He wants you to believe that nothing has changed, that the battle was meaningless, that you are still unworthy of the victory coming at midnight. Archangel Michael says, "I name what you are doing." And with those words, the commander freezes. Because the tactic only works in darkness. Once it is named, it loses its power. You feel a shift in your chest, a tightness that has lived there for years begins to loosen. That shame, that fear, that old wound you thought was part of your identity, it was never your identity. It was the commander's anchor, and it is being ripped out by the root. Now the counter comes from an unexpected direction. Your own suffering becomes the weapon that defeats him. Every tear you cried in the dark, every night you lay awake wondering if God had forgotten you, every silent prayer you whispered when no one was listening, that was not weakness. That was ammunition. Archangel Michael says your suffering did not break you. It hardened you in ways you could not see. The commander expected you to collapse under the weight. Instead, you became strong enough to hold the sword he could not see coming. You feel it now. A rumble under your feet. A crack in the air, like something glass shattering far away. Archangel Michael says the commander is falling. Not slowly. Not quietly. He is collapsing under the weight of everything you endured while he thought he was winning. The very pain he used against you is now the force that crushes him. And as he falls, you feel a warmth spread through your spine, up into your skull, down into your hands. The room around you seems lighter, as if a heavy curtain has been pulled aside. Do not look away now. This is the moment that becomes your testimony. Archangel Michael says the commander's fall is not the end, it is the trigger. Everything he was holding back is now releasing. The blessing he blocked, the relationship he poisoned, the financial door he locked, the health he tried to steal, it all begins to move toward you at once. You will feel it in the next minutes, in the next hours, in the way the clock seems to slow down as midnight approaches. Your enemy's plan is not just collapsing. It is being dismantled from the inside, torn apart by the very suffering you thought was meaningless. Archangel Michael says you were never the victim. You were the trap. And the commander walked straight into it. Now breathe. Let the memory go. It no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the ruin behind you. What comes next will feel like waking up from a long, heavy sleep. Stay present. The cascade has already begun. Archangel Michael says, the chains that held you are breaking now. You can feel it, not in your mind, not in hope alone, but in your body. A vibration moving through your spine, a warmth spreading across your chest, a sound like metal groaning under pressure and then snapping clean. Archangel Michael reveals this is the moment your captivity ends. Not later, not when morning comes, but now, as the clock moves toward midnight and your enemy's plan dissolves into nothing. The first chain is the financial chain. Archangel Michael says you know exactly what it felt like, the weight on your shoulders every time you checked your balance, the tightness in your throat when another bill arrived, the way you stopped dreaming because the numbers never moved. That chain has a sound, and you are hearing it now, a deep, resonant crack, like ice splitting under the sun. The sensation is a sudden lightness in your lower back, as if someone lifted a bag you did not realize you were still carrying. Archangel Michael says the one who placed this chain, the person who withheld, who delayed, who controlled, is watching it shatter from a distance they can no longer cross. They cannot touch your resources again. The second chain is the chain of self-doubt. This one was quieter but more deadly. It wrapped around your throat every time you were about to speak, every time you almost stepped forward, every time you heard that voice whisper that you were not enough. Archangel Michael says you can feel it loosening now, a release in your jaw, a softening in your neck, a breath that goes deeper than it has gone in years. The sound is a sharp snap, like a bowstring breaking, and with it comes a clarity that shocks you. You were never inadequate. The doubt was not yours. It was placed there, fed by the enemy through small remarks, through silence where support should have been, through comparisons that were never true. That chain is gone now. Archangel Michael says you will not hesitate the same way again. The third chain is the chain of loneliness. Archangel Michael says this one felt like cold iron around your wrists, pulling you away from connection, making you believe you would always be the one left out, the one forgotten, the one who watches others celebrate while you wait alone. But listen carefully, you can hear it now, a dull clatter as it falls to the floor, followed by a ringing silence that is not empty but full of arrival. The sensation is heat in your palms, as if someone is placing their hands in yours. Archangel Michael reveals that the people meant to walk with you through this next season are already moving toward you. The isolation was not permanent. It was a refining fire, and you came out of it without the weight. Now the doors. Archangel Michael says the career door that was supernaturally locked, every rejection, every closed application, every stalled conversation, is swinging open. You will feel it as a rush of cool air against your face, as if a window has been thrown wide in a room that has been sealed for years. The relationship door, the one that stayed shut no matter how much you knocked, is cracking open. Archangel Michael says you do not need to push. It is opening from the other side. The health door, your body is receiving a signal, a cellular release, a reset that begins in your bones. And the purpose door, the one that seemed lost, is now wide enough that you can see the light on the other side. Archangel Michael says the enemy who blocked these doors is not just falling back, they are being removed from your path entirely. They cannot walk through the doors that are opening for you. They cannot follow. Every chain that falls removes their access one layer at a time. If you felt a sudden heat in your chest, a ringing in your ears, a tremor in your hands as you read this, Archangel Michael says that is not imagination. That is the break happening in real time. You are not waiting for freedom. You are standing inside its first breath. Stay with me through this release. There is one more gift before the cascade becomes the overflow. Archangel Michael says, the chains are not just loosening now. They are shattering, and the sound is inside your own bones. Not a distant noise, not a metaphor you can hold at arm's length. Your spine knows it before your mind catches up. That tremor running from your shoulders down to your hands, Archangel Michael says that is the first chain breaking. The financial chain that wrapped around your throat every time you opened a bill, every time you calculated what you did not have, every time you watched someone else receive what you had prayed for. That chain had a grip you could feel at night when sleep refused to come. Now it snaps with a sound like a cable released underwater, a deep, muffled crack that travels through your ribs and settles in your lungs as breath you did not have before. Archangel Michael reveals the second chain next, and it is the one you have worn the longest. The chain of self-doubt that made you hesitate at the door of every opportunity. You can feel it now, can't you? A tight band around your throat that suddenly softens, loosens, falls away. The sound is like a long exhale, like the release of a held sob you never let out. Archangel Michael says your throat is opening. The words you swallowed for years are no longer trapped. The voice you silenced is rising from your chest, and it will not be quiet anymore. The third chain is the one that held your heart. The chain of loneliness that convinced you no one truly saw you, that connection was for other people, that the warmth you craved would always stay just out of reach. Archangel Michael says this chain has a particular sound, like a lock clicking open in a room that has been sealed for years. And the sensation is heat. A spreading warmth in your chest, in your stomach, in the hollow behind your ribs. You are not alone. You have not been alone. The isolation was a lie told by the very chains that are now breaking at your feet. As each chain falls, a door opens. Archangel Michael says the first door is the door of your career. The opportunity you thought was dead, the path you believed was blocked forever, it is breathing again. You will receive a message, a call, a name that changes the direction of your work. The second door is the door of relationships. The person who belongs to your future is already moving toward you. Archangel Michael says you will recognize them by the peace they bring, not by the chaos you are used to. The third door is the door of health. Your body is receiving permission to heal. The symptoms that have no explanation, the exhaustion that would not lift, the ache that became normal, all of it is being addressed at a level deeper than medicine can reach. The fourth door is the door of purpose. The reason you were born is no longer hidden behind fear. You will wake up knowing what you are here to do. And the enemy who placed those chains? Archangel Michael says they are being pushed further into the dark with every door that opens. They cannot see the light that is now flooding your path. Their plan is collapsing exactly at midnight, as promised. You do not need to watch them fall. You only need to walk through what is opening in front of you. The chains that held you are now the evidence against them. Every link that breaks is a testimony they cannot answer. You can feel this happening in your body as you read these words. That heat in your palms? That is the chain of passivity releasing. That lightness behind your eyes? That is the chain of confusion dissolving. That sudden urge to breathe deeply? That is the chain of anxiety snapping. Archangel Michael says you are not imagining any of this. The break is real. The doors are real. The freedom is not coming tomorrow. It is arriving in this breath. Do not look away from this moment. Let your hands open as you receive. Archangel Michael says one final gift is about to arrive, the overflow you never dared to describe, the abundance you stopped yourself from believing in. It is here. It is now. Keep your eyes open. The cascade is about to become your life. Archangel Michael and Jesus together now speak the final word over your life. This is not another warning. This is not another preparation. This is the decree that nothing can reverse. Archangel Michael says the plan that your enemy set in motion against you has not only collapsed, it has been erased from the spiritual record. The midnight hour that you feared, the moment they aimed all their energy toward, has become the moment of your total victory. They cannot rebuild what has been dismantled. They cannot reassign what has been cancelled. Archangel Michael and Jesus have closed every loophole, every back door, every hidden clause. It is done. Archangel Michael says you need to hear this clearly. Every curse that was spoken against your name is nullified. Every false accusation that was whispered in someone's ear is silenced. Every attempt to drain your finances, every scheme to delay your breakthrough, every relationship that was targeted for destruction, it is all cancelled. Not temporarily. Not conditionally. Permanently. Archangel Michael and Jesus have sealed this with a signature that no power in heaven or on earth can override. The enemy has no legal standing anymore. They lost the case the moment they raised it against you, and the verdict is now being announced in every realm. You may still feel the aftershocks of the battle in your body. That is natural. But Archangel Michael says the war is over. What you feel now is the residue of what was, not the reality of what is. The heaviness in your chest will lift completely in the next few hours. The tightness in your shoulders is releasing as you read these words. Archangel Michael is physically loosening the tension that has lived in your muscles for months, even years. Breathe deeply one more time and notice how much easier it is than before. That is the proof. That is the Spirit confirming that the chains are not just broken, they are gone. Now Archangel Michael reveals what comes next. This is the overflow phase. Financial doors are opening that no one can shut. Not just an extra check or a small raise. Doors that will change your generaline, resources that were blocked by the enemy's plan are now flooding toward you. Healing is moving through your body at cell level. That condition that doctors could not explain, that pain that had no clear cause, that exhaustion that never lifted, Archangel Michael says the root has been removed. Your body will show the evidence within days. Restored relationships are being prepared, not forced, not rushed, but divinely orchestrated. The person who turned away will return with understanding. The family member who rejected you will soften. The friendship that was poisoned will be cleansed. Archangel Michael and Jesus are rebuilding trust where the enemy tried to burn bridges. Archangel Michael says your name is now written in the book of divine protection. This is not a symbolic gesture. It is an eternal record. Every time the enemy attempts to come near you again, they will encounter a wall of fire before they reach your door. You are covered in a way you have never been before. The prayers you prayed in secret, the tears you cried alone, the nights you thought no one heard, they are all answered now in this one decree. You did not fight in vain. Your suffering was not wasted. Every moment of endurance has become the foundation of this permanent victory. Archangel Michael and Jesus together say to you directly, you have passed the test. You remained faithful when faith felt foolish. You stayed silent when your flesh wanted to scream. You trusted when every circumstance screamed against trust. That was your offering, and it has been accepted. Now the season of abundance begins. Not a trickle. Not a slow increase that takes years to notice. A cascade. A flood. Things will begin moving so quickly that you will struggle to keep up. Opportunities will appear from places you never expected. Favor will open doors you did not knock on. Provision will arrive before you finish praying for it. This is the moment you have been waiting for. Archangel Michael says, do not shrink back now. Do not let old patterns of doubt whisper that this is too good to be true. It is true because it is from God. It is true because Jesus and Archangel Michael have spoken it together over your life. You are entering a new timeline. The old one with its anxiety, its lack, its betrayal, its sickness, its closed doors, it is dead behind you. You are not carrying it forward. Only the blessing comes with you. Now Archangel Michael says to seal this permanently. Open your mouth and say out loud or in your heart, I receive. I receive the cancellation of every enemy plan. I receive the restoration of everything stolen. I receive the overflow of blessing that is now mine. And then type Amen 777 or 1111 in the comments below. Both are valid. Both carry the same power. Archangel Michael says the number you choose will be the anchor for this decree in your own journey. 777, the completion of God's work. 1111, the alignment of heaven and earth for your awakening. Type it now. Do not delay. This is your permanent seal. This is your victory mark. Archangel Michael and Jesus have spoken. The word is final. The war is over. Your new life has already begun.